Welcome everybody to What's Up Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez. That sunglass don and hat wearing son of a gun is Dan and Daygo. He's at Moe's. I don't
Been
know.
living here for quite some time, Brown. Whiskey sours.
All season long. Obviously, it's an interesting week in Chargers land. They play the Broncos on Sunday at 1:25 p.m. A very interesting game. It's a division game. Derwin James said on Wednesday these count for two, so we got to come out there and we got to be ready. The Chargers, I believe, right now are 1-1 in their division. They lost to Kansas City and they beat the Raiders. So yeah, they have out of their last 5 games, 3 of them are against divisional opponents. So definitely, well, 4 of their games are divisional opponents. They play the Broncos twice, the Raiders once, and the
Chiefs once.
Chiefs once. The only other game is the Buffalo Bills game. So Dan, just kicking it right off. Initial thoughts of the game this week.
I think this is going to be another similar game to the Patriot game in the sense that, once again, it could be very low scoring just because they have some guys on defense. The Broncos do. They've been solid the past few seasons playing defensively and things.
Chargers, go.
Absolute manure. Trying to interrupt me as I'm giving my take, my ass analysis over here, guy. But but yeah, especially when you have a receiving core of like Erickson, Guyton, Parham, and Keenan's really the only one that, all pro bowler, stud, gonna do his thing. I would expect another low scoring game, honestly, for some reason.
On both sides or just on the Charger side?
No, on both sides. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to do much. But that's the thing, right? It's like I've said for the what's it called? I said it for the Packers. I said it for the
Jets.
The Jets also. Yeah, and I'm going to say it for this game also. If you get into a low scoring game with these guys, it's gonna help them out a lot more. That's what exactly the type of game they want to get into. They want to get into slow, grinding out a W and everything else. That way the Broncos. That way they either have a chance at the end or they have to just maintain a lead or whatever else. That's been basically kind of the MO. I don't think, at least from what I've seen, they haven't really razzle-dazzled anybody, really. Russell Wilson looks better, doing a little bit more. I mean, he doesn't look like anything he looked like in Seattle, so I'm not too worried about that. But, this is going to be another game where if Khalil Mack and Thule can get after it and some of these other guys, Fox, get involved, because Wilson's been holding on to the ball a lot and he's been getting sacked. So if they can really get after it on him on Sunday, that's going to be a key to the victory right there, because they can't let him get comfortable and throw. They can't let him get into timing routes and throw. But obviously, who knows what they're going to do, because obviously they give the 10 yards cushion and all that other stuff. And I think the biggest storyline for now, I'm going to be honest with you, is probably Sean Payton really wants this W very badly. All the rumors last year that he supposedly wanted to come to LA and everything else, I'm sure it still pisses him off, and that's why he went to go coach a team that plays him 2 times a year. So he wants the game very badly. I would expect him to pull out some razzle-dazzle to try and get past some of these guys, but it's going to be interesting to see what we get. But I think, quite frankly, it's going to be low scoring. I don't know. It's going to be a toughie because for whatever reason, when they see the blue and orange, these guys have a hard time playing against them. So,
Not at home. I think they do a better job at home, but
yeah.
Washington sacked him 7 times. The Jets sacked him 4 times. The Chiefs 4 times. The Chiefs 6 times. The Buffalo Bills 4 times. And most recently, the Houston Texans, I was going to say Rockets, they sacked him 3 times. So you're right, Dan. He's been sacked quite a few times. If you put it to a percentage, he gets sacked 9.4% of the time. Last year was 10.2, so I guess it has gone down a bit. But they spent a lot of money on Powers, McGlinchey, and they're still struggling keeping them in check. But you said the thing about Khalil Mack, and I feel like That's 100% true. Khalil Mack is going to be a huge part of what these guys do on Sunday, because Khalil, we all know, 15 sacks this year. I mean, the guy, honestly, and you feel bad for him because he should be in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, especially because, let's be honest, their defense has been one of the worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, and the dude's been performing. Like, I just think that that deserves a lot more credit than it's getting. Because I mean, you think about it, and I'm going to be completely honest, Dan, and I know Pittsburgh and Cleveland have a winning record. I get it, but they're not. I mean, those two teams aren't really headed anywhere. Like, they might make the playoffs, but
they'll be a one and done, dude. Who are they
yeah.
gonna beat?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I know but their defenses are powerhouses. That's what I'm saying. Both.
Yeah.
Khalil's on a defense where
they're built better. Yeah.
I mean, it's Khalil, it's Derwin, Fat Gap, I guess Thule, Fat Gap, and then kind of the other players start to kind of trickle in here and there, but it's nothing like what Cleveland's done. It's nothing what Pittsburgh has. So it'll be interesting to see. But Dan, real quick, I know you love videos, and I haven't shown you film in a while, so I know you're
you go,
kind of anxious for that. Look at this. Goldberg, Bobby Lashley, your tribal chief. They would be excited about this, Dan. Watch Khalil on this play. Look at him. Oof. Getting in his stance. Bang.
Dude. If you're on audio, you're gonna want to check this out. Look at the speed to get down the line, though, like in the agility. Wow. He freaking cracks Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
It's not like Ezekiel Elliott's some small guy either, you know?
No, Ezekiel Elliott's a stocky back.
Dude, that guy's a man. Jesus name. They probably put out an APB. Someone got killed that night. They're looking.
Look at the right tackle. The right tackle didn't even he's like, whoop.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, I don't know why he's pass setting. I don't know if that's the type of blocking scheme they want to try and bring him upfield. But
it seemed like 71 just could not handle Khalil. And then I don't know, the left tackle Trent Brown. Jeez. It looked like neither one of those two guys could handle what Khalil was bringing to them.
Dude, the slow mo, he got rocked. I'm surprised he didn't come out of the game.
Dude,
but the Patriots offensively were not very good, though. They were not very good. But don't you still love that, though? Bill Belichick, defensive head coach, not having a great year, but his defense is still so damn good and tough to go up against.
And honestly, I was gonna say that like, to be completely honest, it's kind of an anomaly what the Chargers did on Sunday. Like, we still saw the same mistakes that their defense has made all season that other teams have made them pay for.
Yeah.
But the Patriots just couldn't make them pay. I mean, on the long pass of Devontae Parker, he's out of bounds, but like that should have been a flag on Dean Leonard if we're calling a spade a spade. Yeah. They're lucky that Devontae Parker, he had another play on that Marcus Thornton end around. If Devontae actually blocks Derwin James, Derwin can't catch up to Marcus Thornton. So, I mean, they got lucky on some plays, but I actually think that Cortland Sutton and
Jerry Jeudy
might give these guys a lot of problems.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, well, I mean, who knows?
No, the reason why I think they're going to give him a problem is because these guys haven't been able to keep up with any, like, there hasn't been a set of receivers that you've said, oh, they've had a dominant performance. Because, like, everybody will point to the Jets. But
yeah, I mean, come on, dude. They're playing freaking the Manhattan Milf Hunter. What the hell?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. No. I'm agreeing with that. But I
would have said more. I don't really think the Baltimore receivers did much. I mean, Zay had that one big.
Yeah, but Odell Beckham got hurt and he was out of the game. Bateman was kind of dealing with an issue as well, and he was kind of in and out. So, but Zay Flowers still did a number on them. But I mean,
sorry. Yeah, I was about to sound like somebody. Take out the chunk plays, and you didn't do much, but never mind. Yeah, you gotta count it all, I guess. Yeah.
So I wonder if Broncos fans, because of what you said about Russell Wilson, I wonder if they'll come after you the way that that Ravens and
Broncos country. You're a quarterback away, possibly again. I have no faith in Russell Wilson, dude. Like, I don't know. I've been saying this from the beginning.
Dan was
The
pissed
Broncos.
about Sunday.
If
Dan would have
Broncos,
been 4-1 in our picks if
the
Russell
damn
Wilson wouldn't have
Broncos.
thrown that pick.
God dang him, dude. But I think the thing that bothers me the most, if I remember it correctly, it's a terrible decision. This isn't Pop Warner, guy. You're a supposed Super Bowl winning quarterback and all this other stuff. And he's standing in the pocket, throwing across his body, Frau. And the worst part is there's no zip on the ball. What do you think was going to happen? Like, get out of here, dude. But anyway, I've said this, I think, the past 2 seasons. You know what? I would even say I said this when they traded for him. I don't know how Patton is still on this team as general manager and stuff like that. I don't understand how, you're going to mortgage the future, give this guy a contract, and he's looked like garbage, dude. He is not what they thought he was going to be. He hasn't looked good. He looks like a shell of himself. And of course, people can say maybe it's the receivers, the linemen, play calling, Hackett, and all that other stuff. But I mean, it is what it is. He's still not performing, dude. So I don't understand what they're going to do in the future moving forward. I'm sure Sean Payton's looking to offload or trying to get out of that as soon as possible. I don't think he sticks around. I don't even know how long his contract was for, but there's no way this Sean Payton's going to stick with him. He has not looked good even under Sean Payton. So maybe all that Team 3 and all that stupid Mr. Unlimited stuff got to his head, and now he just isn't the same, dude. He's not the same without, a run game that's super dominant like it was in the heyday of Seattle. So I don't know what it is. I was not a fan of that trade. I think now it looks even worse, especially when they paid him. Like, I don't know. I would rather take Aaron Rodgers coming back next year from the Achilles, like waiting for that, than Russell Wilson right now, dude. I can't do that.
Yeah, I completely I don't know what they're gonna do with Russ moving forward, because I mean the dude's contract is just massive, and we all know
who's
how
gonna trade for that, dude. Like
right now, the on offense they are near the bottom. With 200, they average 299 yards a game. Passing yards, they are near the bottom at 183.3.
Oh, but he's danger Russ, don't worry.
Running the balls where they're more effective and not that much more, but 115.8. And they are in the middle of the pack. They score 21.9 points a game. So this year, Russell Wilson has been he's completing 67% of his passes, 68, I guess, if you round up, 2,385 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's been sacked 36 times. Not a bad year, but it's also not like Russell Wilson. I mean, Javonte Williams, 153 carries, 584 yards. He's not scored a touchdown, a rushing touchdown. Russell Wilson has 2 rushing touchdowns. He's also ran for 310 yards. So that's another thing that the Chargers are going to have to watch out for.
I felt like he's looked slower.
Yeah.
What game were we watching on primetime that like he couldn't escape the pocket? He had no pocket presence. Maybe it was the Bills. I don't know, but we were watching a game recently, or maybe it was on Sunday against the Texans.
Houston.
It's like he just did not look good, dude. I was like, I don't know. This is exactly my bad.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this is exactly why I tell people don't panic at the quarterback position. Find someone who's efficient, build around it. The quarterback will come eventually. And the other thing I'll tell you is just they're 6-6 right now because they're doing enough of what they need to do to win. Not consistently, but they're doing just enough to win some of these games, dude.
It's crazy because right now I was looking, and Jerry Jeudy, not Jerry Jeudy, my bad. Cortland Sutton has caught 50 receptions for 637 yards, 9 touchdowns, Dan. That's quite a bit of touchdowns, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, they've been getting after it. Like I said, I think that's his favorite target anyway, Jerry Jeudy. So, I mean,
you said what?
It's Jerry Jeudy. You said Jerry Jeudy, right?
No, I said Cortland Sutton. My bad.
Oh, Cortland Sutton. Yeah. Well, they've been a problem they've been a problem even before he got there. Those guys usually are tough to handle and everything else. I know they've had a few injuries in the past few years, but I mean, again, this is just one stooge's opinion on the internet. I don't think they're going to be, a Tyreek Hill type. Who the hell else did they play in the first few weeks where they gave up 100 yards? I don't think they're going to be that type of dynamic, smoking and joking and zooming, but they could be a handful. And I mean, or like a Travis Kelce type where they gave up 100 yards. I don't think they're going to be that type of level on Sunday, but
you never know with the secondary.
Well, that's the thing. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, in general, they're not at the level of a Tyreek Hill or a Travis Kelce.
Yeah, they're that middle of the pack kind of receivers.
Yeah, like they're solid. You'd want to have on your team, but
yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't say they're game changers. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep. We're going to be fine. But especially with Wilson slinging it, we're going to be fine. But they just have to make sure, number one, they have to get Russell Wilson seeing ghosts, dude. That's what they need to do first and foremost. Get him seeing ghosts. Get him taking his eyes downfield and looking at the pass rushers. That's how you're going to really slow down this Broncos offense. And the defense, that's going to be in and of itself a huge problem because
let's head over to that side now. Let's jump over to the Chargers defense. Before you even jump onto that, let's hear what Brandon Staley had to say about going up against Patrick Surtain and Justin Simmons, who obviously everybody knows are two of the best at their positions.
Dogs.
Yeah, those two guys are two of the best at their position in the league, and they've been playing together for a long time as well. And you add Kareem in there as well. They've just played a lot of football together, so there's a lot of trust and confidence, and they've been well trained, and so definitely have a lot of respect for both.
You're gonna like this next part.
Is OC in Denver now? You see any similarities in what Denver's running and maybe what you guys ran the past couple of years?
Yeah, definitely.
Grandma, there we go.
Defensively for them, obviously, I just asked Justin this. They kind of an interesting story arc with their defense, just giving up 70 in one game, and sort of how they've responded to that. Mm-hmm. They've kind of been thriving off of turnovers in this recent stretch. You talk about illusions sometimes. Like, how real is what they're doing defensively in terms of just how many turnovers they're forcing, and how do you sort of approach game planning for them when they had obviously that game on tape, but then it responded in a certain way?
They've got a lot of good defensive players that have been well trained for a long time. They've been playing in a high level system, since 2019. So they've played a lot together. They've been, they were an elite unit last year, and many of those guys are still there. So I think, just a tough game early, but it's a very, very good defense, and not an accident that they've been playing very well. A lot of good players on all three levels, and got a lot of respect for them.
You really do have to respect. Real quick, just to interject real quick with the first part. We forgot about Joe Lombardi. Joe Lombardi.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I did forget that.
That's going to be very interesting.
The storylines write themselves, Frown. You have a head coach who was, I would argue, Hall of Fame. I would argue was robbed a few times in some certain championships. I would argue did one of the
toughest. Doesn't believe that.
Yeah, because he's a stooge. He's an idiot. I don't know what to tell you. Did one of, in my opinion, the hardest turnarounds for a franchise, probably maybe in NFL history. Like, I kid you not. I'll tell anyone who's listening, look at the NFL films or the 30 for 30 and really look at what New Orleans was like during the Archie Manning years. And furthermore, how it was like they were sort of like a Detroit, just lost in space, like never very good. The fans were always bags over their heads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for him to turn it around and be a contender almost every year of his tenure, that to me speaks volumes, not only to the guy's character, to what type of program he runs, to what type of management skills he has and everything else, but more importantly, the vision, because I don't think enough coaches have a vision. Like, a lot of coaches think about winning Super Bowls, but they don't think about the little things on how to get there. You know what I'm saying? And it starts, with the simplest details in the building. So I don't think that. Oh, and that's what I was getting at. Arguably, obviously, all rumors, speculation, everything else made it publicly known he wanted, supposedly to come to LA and everything else. Essentially, turned down for the job because they kept Brandon Staley and everything else. The storyline writes itself on that one. You could tell he's going to want to come into this and put, hell, he'd probably want to drop 70 if he could. Really look up at a certain box and be like, "Oh yeah, there you go." Like the Tom Brady quote when he was leaving New England, dude.
Oh yeah.
But then the other one, right? Let's look at the other one. Joe Lombardi in his first season goes from interviewing for head coaching jobs, Frau, to in the second year being chased out of town by damn near pitchfork and angry mob chasing his ass down. And he's facing his former team. The storylines write themselves. Both of them have circled this since the beginning of time. And the one they really want is that one in Mile High. But we'll get to that when we get there.
Ronaldo Hill, week 1, and now Vince Lombardi.
That's another one. And you heard in that press conference sort of what little things Mike McDaniel was dropping. Now, how true they were, we have no idea. We're not in those rooms. But definitely some interesting stuff, dude. And then on top of that, like in my opinion, they're viable right now for playoff contention. They're 6-6. They're at 500. So from here on out, they really need to maximize and win these games because, again, the division counts as 2, and you need to really win your freaking divisional game. So I don't think it's going to be easy, no matter how much I try and, trash Russell Wilson and some of this other stuff. I still don't think it's going to be easy on Sunday.
You know what's crazy, though? I mean, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs lose on Sunday and the Broncos win, the Broncos are one game behind them in the standings.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the Broncos did beat them in one game, and they should have beat them in the other one, but obviously some factors there. But, man, is this getting interesting? Because, like, the Chiefs aren't the same old Chiefs, and I was listening to Kelsey's podcast. He's like, we'll get it fixed. And I'm like, they should put that on T-shirts because all season that's what they've been saying. We're going to get it fixed.
Yeah.
But one thing,
like week 12, dude.
Yeah, one thing that the Chargers need to get fixed is the dropping passes. And Justin Herbert spoke about that. In the middle, you'll hear me ask him about Patrick Surtain and everything, but he answers this. He answers the drop passes twice, so you're gonna want to hear this, Dan.
As far as the drops that you guys are going through right now, how do you deal with that as a quarterback when you feel like you're probably making some good throws, especially on 3rd and 4th down, but guys are coming down with the ball? How do you sort of approach that?
I think it's tough situations, especially with the weather. I think that's going to affect it, and those guys battle, and I know that they're doing their best, and just like I'm doing my best, and they've made incredible catches before, and they've saved me and protected us. So it's part of the game, and I know that next time we're going to go to them and they're going to make the play, and that's just the trust and faith that we have in each other.
Who are the Joneses facing off against Patrick Surtain?
Yeah, he's incredibly talented. You watch him on film, and he always seems to be in the right place at the right time, and he's just a smart ball player and knows exactly what to do, how to cover guys, and he's able to cover different types of guys. So it's really impressive to watch.
In those situations when there's a drop, a key situation, is it? Do you have to tell yourself don't have an obvious reaction, or does that just come natural that you don't have some over the top reaction that people then are going to point to and say you make your teammate look bad, kind of thing?
Yeah. I think it's just part of the game. If I miss a guy, or if I miss a wide open guy, I'd like for him to do the same thing where he puts his hands up or he's pointing at me or things like that. And I think it's kind of just treat people the way you want to be treated. And I can always do a better job of that. And it's a tough situation. There was a lot of rain. It's tough on the footballs like that. But I know those guys are doing their best. And kind of like I said earlier, it's trust and confidence that we're going to go back to them the next play and they're going to make a play.
You don't have to remind yourself in the moment. That just kind of seems like it just sort of comes natural. We saw the one spike thing with Will, but that's really the only time we've ever seen any of that from you. So
I think it is maybe a conscious effort just to treat people the way you want to be treated. And those situations are always tough and they're never friendly. And you always want to try to avoid those situations, but they're going to come up. And I think that we've got a great team and a great locker room that are able to handle and talk to it and especially communicate with each other about them.
What do you think?
There's not much else to say. I mean, besides the fact that the guy's a stud, I think it's so ridiculous the slander they try and put towards him. I'm not even going to get into it. I've already said it plenty of times. I'm not going to continue to beat a dead horse, but he's right. Like, and this is what I've said again on the Compa show, right? No matter how much some of these players, I won't say who, don't like it, he is the face of the franchise. Like, you think Chargers football, naturally, for whatever reason, whatever it is, it goes to Justin Herbert. You know what I mean? Like, and the way, again, I think he's a team captain, right? He has a C on his chest,
Yes.
or do they not have C's?
Well, they don't do C's, but yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
But
anyway,
I think they don't do C's, but he was voted a captain.
Anyway, captain or not, he's a leader of the team. Okay. In those situations where it's high stress, if he's screaming, hooting, and hollering and yelling at people and acting like an asshole, that shows panic. Tom Brady's different. Don't talk about the GOAT. That shows panic, right? And if he's showing panic on his face and his demeanor, everyone else is going to panic. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing. So that's why when you get the Caleb Williams in the world who are crying and doing all this crap, you know, that in my mind's a poor leader, because I'm validating my emotions more than taking care of my teammates. And that's something I'll never do, especially as a coach. As a coach, oh, what?
No, I was going to say, like, that's what I said on the show that day. Like, he cried after that game, but 100%. It's like, no, but I'm saying, did the team cry after the Notre Dame game where he was the one that just threw 3 picks and one of them was like return and stuff? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and especially now as a coach, like, I could teach a kid 100 times how to do proper technique and a block and stuff like that. If it doesn't go my way in a game, I'm not going to be screaming, hooting, and hollering, yelling at the kids or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, or when they make mistakes, I'm not going to be hooting and hollering, yelling, and doing all this stuff. Just like I tell the kids all the time this, my expression does not change. We're up by a point. We're down by a point. We're up 20. We're down 20.
I can attest to that.
The game still has to be played. And I am stone cold when it comes to it, because in my man, and this is what I tell the kids all the time, your emotions will lie to you. They lie. They tell you all the negative things you want to hear. And when you react negatively and you're over here making a scene and doing all this crazy stuff, it's because you're letting your emotion and your impulses win. You have to be able to control that. You have to be a freaking warrior, right? A warrior knows how to control his emotions and harness it to use it for something in a positive way. Freaking dropping knowledge here. Call me freaking Marcus Aurelius for now. I don't know what to say, but basically that's the whole spiel without getting too much more into it. The guy's a leader. They ask him, why don't you get pissed off? Because again, that shows panic. If a quarterback's getting pissed off, like he said, if he would start getting pissed off that people are dropping past this and that, when he misses a throw, they're going to do the same thing, and it's only going to escalate, and it's going to create more division and everything else within the team. So that's exactly why he's doing the right thing by just being like, all right, on to the next one, get in the huddle. You better freaking catch the ball next time.
No, and I completely agree. I mean, and we've seen it. I mean, obviously, right after that happened, when he flipped out not at Will Clapp, but at the situation.
Yeah. He apologized.
Yeah. He apologized and everything. But Dan, you know what you just dropped, right? I mean, besides knowledge,
that's why you
basically went to this.
Afraid to lose her, I think.
What does that got to do with anything?
Everything. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Dan,
that's big facts right there.
Because
you know what? And that was a good analogy.
What does that look like?
Oh, that looks like Justin Herbert right there. Young Padawan learner when he was a kid. That's exactly a perfect analogy, though. After his mom obviously is killed by the Sand people and stuff like that, Anakin lets his emotions run wild. And not only does he make the people responsible, like, does he punish them? He also takes it out on everyone else and kills a whole village. So that's exactly a perfect little analogy right there. So,
well, not just that, but then he lets the fear of
losing Padme, and he kills her basically. Yeah.
And then that's what leads him to the
suffering,
the
dark side. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. That's just what I was to say. It's a tale as old as time, dude. Don't take counsel from your fears, or you'll never do anything. You'll never amount to anything, dude.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there, Dan, especially because obviously obviously, I mean, yeah, and I mean that's the thing. He has to shed his emotions and everything because like you said, I mean, you just never know or anything like that. And I know you don't want to, well, I know part of you would like to see him like this.
Yeah. The villain arc.
I know you would
So
like to
badass, dude. So bad. Well, he dressed up as Anakin Skywalker for Halloween, didn't he, or something?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
badass,
yeah.
dude. The villain arc is coming. Next
I
year he's
know.
gonna be Vader and he's gonna torch the league.
Oh, dude, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Real quick, Dan, I mean, we watch games together and stuff, and like we break it down and we talk about it and everything. One thing that you've really been talking about a lot is the offensive line that you've noticed it hasn't been the same since Corey Linsley, that they've been it
Yeah.
just the offensive line just hasn't been the same.
Has not
So
looked as good.
let's hear what Brandon Staley has to say about the offensive line, what he said about it today.
I think not having Corey has impacted the offense.
Well, I think anytime you have a star player, you know, one of the top players at his position, it's going to have an impact. But with that said, I mean, I think Will Clapp has been really, really, really solid for us. And I think he's been one of our most consistent performers on our whole team, but definitely on our offense. So I think Will's been fantastic for us. And, you know, we miss Corey a lot, you know, but he's still with us. And, you know, I think that relationship between him and Will really helps. And then Justin, you know, ultimately having confidence in Will and their relationship, really important. Will's got a ton of experience. And, you know, since he's played for us, he's been really, really solid.
How would you assess the play of your offensive line overall this season?
I think it's been inconsistent. And I think we've been good in spurts. And I think that we've shown quality run and pass, but it's been inconsistent. But it's a good group of guys. They're working hard. And, you know, I think it's fair to say that our best football is in front of us.
We're extremely excited about coming in the season, moving Zion over the left, getting Rashawn back, re-signing Trey. Obviously, Corey going out is going to have an impact on it. But just why do you feel like maybe you've had some more inconsistency from those other positions from guys that maybe you were pretty excited about coming into this season?
Yeah, I think sometimes it just takes time with the unit. There's different factors at play. You know, some guys being nicked up, and you know, just I think not quite. You know, you win a couple more of these games, I think we would feel differently, certainly about the group. But it's the right group to be coaching. I think again, our best football is out there, and that's what our focus has been on, is on the improvement. And that group it's a close group of guys, and so I know that they're going to make the improvements on the field. And like I said, it's just, I think it's a couple little things, you know, it's a couple little things within that group. But I really like coaching them, and, you know, we got a really good opportunity this week for Denver.
Yeah. And I'm going back to what he said at the beginning, where he said solid run games. I think, what did he say? Solid or something?
I have the transcript right here.
Yeah. He said, the one we just watched, he said solid, or obviously inconsistency. He touched on obvious inconsistencies. We all have eyes.
I think we've shown quality run and pass.
That's what it is.
It's been inconsistent.
I don't know about the quality run, dude. Like, I think the only quality run game I've seen was in that Miami game. And I think other than that, I have not seen anything really.
You know what?
Run game.
Okay, you're mentioning that. Let's really quick go to Brandon Staley.
Look at that.
Speaking about the run game.
Look at that. I even set you up for the transitions, dude.
With the run game, but like, how frustrating has it been? You know, you talked about last season kind of marrying the passing game and the running game. How frustrating has it been that now 13 or 12 games in, you guys still haven't seemed to be able to do that?
I think we've been able to do it in spurts. I think what's frustrating is that we've done it. We just haven't done it consistently. I think that's probably where the frustration is. It'd be one thing if I haven't seen it at all, then I think you would be frustrated and, you know, upset and feeling it a little bit differently. But we've shown that we've been able to run the football. And I think, again, it's not just about the offensive line. It's not just about the runners. You know, it's about all 11 guys and coaching included. And it's just finding that formula. And, I said it a couple weeks ago. There's just some aspects of your team that take longer than others in a season. There's just some aspects that way. But we still have, a bunch of games in front of us, and we got a good opportunity this week, and we're working hard at it.
Where do you look at when you say you've seen it? Like, where do you look at? Is it like the Miami game, or is it like, where do you look at when you say I've seen it before? Where do you look at when you say that's encouraging you about the run game?
The Miami game would definitely be, one of the games that I felt like, that defense is really good. That's one of the most talented groups that we've played. And to do that in that game, I just felt like that was, we were at full strength in that game. And I thought you saw, what we can do as an offense in that game. And that's just one example, but I just felt like everybody in our group that played in that game was a big factor in our success. It wasn't just one group. It wasn't just because, we have the same running backs. And so, I think that, there's some things that happen along the way where, your identity shifts a little bit in terms of maybe what you thought you were to what you are now. And then all of a sudden you hit it. You kind of find that rhythm later on in the season, and away you go. And that's what we're after. We're after that. But like I said, we believe in these guys. We've done it with these guys this year. We've done it with these guys in the past. And, we just got to keep searching for it.
Yeah, exactly. Mentioned one game, Miami.
Well,
Other than that, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Eckler had over 120 yards in that game. So if you take that out, Eckler's at 320 this season. Joshua Kelly had over 100 yards in that game too. You take that out, he's at 276.
Yeah,
so they have not
276 and 300 over 12 or 11 games. Like, I'm no mathematician.
Kelly's at 12. Austin's at 9.
12 and 9 what?
Like 12 games, 9 games.
Yeah. Like, what is that? Like, the average can't be good.
Well, Joshua Kelly's is 4 yards, and
no, I meant like per game, average per game.
Per game, Austin Eckler's at 49 a game, and Joshua Kelly's at 31.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what the hell I'm talking about. That is not winning football right there, and I think it's showing. And he does have a point. To everybody else's probably dismay, I'm sure I'll get killed for it. He does have a point in the sense that it does take time. Because everybody forgets, Sawyer last year was a very good backup to Rashawn Slater at left tackle. He stepped in, and it almost, looked like it almost looked like Slater was still in there. He was pretty damn good. So him moving into guard now, I said this at the beginning of the year, it's going to take time. It's going to be a lot different. It's, putting a Band-Aid or your thumb in the dam and hoping to God that thing's going to hold up, because it's a lot different. People don't understand. You can't just move people around and it's easy peasy and no problem, hunky-dory, Dora la Exploradora, and all that other stuff. It's going to take time, dude. Moving Zion from right to left, I don't think that's that big of a deal. You play guard, you should be able to play right and left. Same body types. The only difference is your feet are a little bit different. But that one, I don't understand where the struggle has been. Trey Pipkins also, he's been there for a few years. Still haven't seen it. That's where I was going to go to right now. Defensively, if I'm Vance Joseph, that's where I'm targeting. I'm trying to put everyone through Trey Pipkins and Jamari Sawyer. They've had a tough time with pressure, especially Sawyer, because a lot of times, for whatever reason, these tackles, they'll stand up and when they get, kind of a bull rush, they don't like to sit and really combat that pressure. And unfortunately, sometimes this guy tries to do that as a guard, and he's in the quarterback's lap half the time. So that's going to be something to watch. Zion Johnson's had some problems with that too. So that's going to be something to watch. If I'm, I kid you not, if I'm the Broncos, I'm hoping to God, I'm doubling Keenan, and I'm trying to bring as much pressure as I can to really disrupt Justin Herbert. I'm pressing the hell out of everybody. So
I don't know if, I'm not trying to be, I don't know if, okay.
What?
No. Well, I was going to say, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I think Patrick Surtain and Keenan's actually a really good matchup.
One-on-one.
Yeah, but obviously, like, they're going to have to throw some help his way because.
Yeah. But more than anything, I just say double team just to give the advantage to the defense more than anything. That way it's not like an oopsie daisy and then there's no one there and he goes off. But yeah, like 100%, you're right. He's instead of a player. There's a reason why he's still there. Just free my boy Kareem Jackson, by the way.
saying 90% of the game or a high percentage of the game, Pat, you're going to be on Keenan Allen. Take him out of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, I know he's making the plea with Vance to do that. He wants that. He's done that with Devontae Adams. Like, this is a Patrick Surtain game. You can, because for many of these games, he's kind of invisible. He's not asked to do a lot. They're going at Fabian or they're going at Jaquan, whatever. But I believe this is a game for Patrick Surtain. You've got a chess piece that can literally – now, Keenan Allen has seen the best corners his whole life. And he's got he's a router. So, it will test Surtain, but he wants that test. Like, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is. Because, again, the Chargers lately have been playing a very dangerous game, and Kellen Moore bears that responsibility that they're playing Keenan Allen ball with Justin Herbert, and they're hoping to God some guys can just average 10 to 15 yards to help them move the ball and keep things alive. Because I still think you take Keenan out of the game, this offense is not going to move very much. Unless it's Herbert getting out of the pocket and running, I find it very hard for this offense to move because they've been inconsistent all across the board at doing everything. So
speaking of that, the Chargers did open the 21-day window for Josh Palmer. I don't know if he'll be back this Sunday, to be honest, and then next week's a short week. So that's kind of my question. Like, will they I don't know if they'll not risk him, but have him play this weekend, then hey, real quick next week. So it's going to be interesting to see when he'll be ready to go. Because just because they opened his 21-day window doesn't mean he'll be back this Sunday. They might wait with him. They might wait with him. But
again, you drop these two games, you probably don't even bring him back.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I was gonna say if they lose this Sunday, I think they're eliminated.
There you go.
I'd be very surprised if they made it to the playoffs.
What was his injury again? Was it a knee? Oh, a knee.
So he said that the cornerback fell on him. Remember, it was that game where it was the Bears game. It was in the first quarter. He just drops and he tried to get up and he just couldn't. And he went back down. And
I think he even came back into the game at some point. And tried to finish, but then
I think he was
okay. Maybe I
don't think he came back.
You know what I was
thinking? He might have come back.
I was thinking of Keenan when he came out and then came back.
Oh, the Detroit Lions game. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a tough game. I mean, again, it's the same thing we've been talking about for weeks. Gerald Everett, all these guys, they're all gonna have to step up and try and win this game. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see if they can or kind of how they try and move. And then Brandon said that they might try giving some other people reps to carry more touches, that it's going to be same. Basically, it was the same thing as the cornerback stuff. Oh, hey, we're going to give other guys a chance. But Isaiah Spiller hasn't suited. And I understand that. A couple of weeks ago, he said that he hasn't, in layman's terms, he hadn't picked it up, that he needed to show more, stuff like that. So I get it. But I'm definitely interested to see kind of how the Chargers respond this weekend. Because that was an ugly game in Boston in Boston, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens there. But Dan, before we move on, we finish up and we go, listen to what Tyreek Hill had to say about one of your players. I know you're interested in this.
Top 5 wideouts in the league right now.
5. Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Diggs, AJ Brown. Who am I missing?
Did you say Devontae?
Oh, yeah, Devontae Allen. Well, I'm tripping. What?
RG3 has a podcast now, too.
Yeah.
The guy's everywhere, dude. Yeah,
but never mind.
Oh, what would I rather do? What?
Listen to RG3's or Mina Kimes.
Oh, my God.
All right, keep on going.
Bill Burks is a huge fan of our quarterback school, dude. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we talk about this all the time. I don't know why Keenan Allen is so slept on. I think he's one of the best wide receivers in the game. And again, put yourself within this lens that he's doing a lot with very little. Obviously he has Justin Herbert, who's a stud and everything else, but it's not like he has a huge supporting cast. He doesn't have Devontae Smith like AJ Brown does. He doesn't have Gabe Davis. He doesn't have I guess Devontae's kind of by himself too. I can't remember who else was on that list, but he doesn't have another guy right now. And on top of that, the offensive line has been spotty. There's been bigger problems going on. And so, yeah, Keenan Keenan Allen, I don't know why he still slept on. He slept on because, unfortunately, the team hasn't been productive as people thought they were going to be. So
Same as Khalil Mack. I mean, we've been talking
Khalil
about
Mack,
that.
yeah.
Well, Dan, obviously, another. It'll be interesting to see kind of what happens this Sunday, because obviously we know how Russ is. We know that offense, but that defense, that's going to be the interesting part. The Chargers offense against
Free
that
my
defense,
boy Kareem Jackson.
But Dan, give me a fantasy player.
Fantasy player, I will go with Jerry Jeudy. How he does against this secondary that's new, I guess, different from the $6 million you were paying Michael Davis and some of these guys. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does. He could have a big day depending on what defense shows up.
I'll go with Cortland Sutton on the other side. 9 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure he's caught some incredible, like the one against the Buffalo Bills. I think he caught one like tiptoeing at the end. It looked like Russ was throwing it away. He caught it. I'm sure Cortland Sutton will have a big game. X Factor.
Oh, this one's easy. Listen to this. My X Factor, okay? And I think this is where the Broncos offensively are going to this is where I think the Broncos are going to have an advantage offensively. Joe Lombardi, more than anything, is more of a snitch, an informant, because he was in the organization. He knows how Brandon Staley thinks. He was close to Brandon Staley, obviously, as the OC and everything else. That's where he's going to be vital to try and get in your enemy's head, your opponent's head. The X factor, obviously, given that information, what can Sean Payton dial up that's within Russell Wilson's comfort zone that's going to help him win? Because I don't think what he's been showing is enough, dude. Russell Wilson, like I said earlier, I don't think he's shown enough, really, not only to warrant the contract, but really to help these Broncos kind of make a push and get back to the Broncos from the Peyton Manning years and everything else. But, so that's my X factor. What is Sean Payton going to call on Sunday, really? And again, another thing that we have to address also is that, Brandon Staley's record against Super Bowl winning head coaches is not very good. Obviously, he beat one on Sunday who's down and out, so I guess it counts, but still, he beat Andy Reid the one time. I can't really think of another Super Bowl winning head coach he's beaten, and I've seen that stat floating around there, and it didn't look too good, the record right there. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see that little chess match between both Sean Payton and Brandon Staley. So,
I'm going to go with Tui Pelotu. I think he needs a big game. Obviously, Khalil will have his, but Tuli needs to also have an impact like he did last Sunday with that fumble of Stevenson. That helped get points on the board for them. So I'm going to go with Tuli. All right, Dan, what's your prediction? Or do you want me to go first?
No, I can go first. It's fine. I think it's going to be tight. Like, I think it's going to be extremely tight. But I think the Broncos might take this one, honestly, at home. They might snag that victory.
Broncos 24, Chargers 21. I'll say that's.
Oh, you think the Broncos are going to win too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Broncos are still. I mean, the Chargers are in playoff contention too, but the Broncos, like, their defense is good. Yeah. Their offense is kind of woken up as of late. The Chargers defense is not good. Or they haven't been good. They've been good in stretches, but they're still making.
They held the Patriots to 0 points for now. What are you talking about?
They're making a lot of mistakes still, and I'm just not. I think.
I can't wait for the comment later. Did this guy really say he held the Patriots to 0 points? I love it. I love all the hate I get. It's all good. It's all good.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of What's Up, Bolts. We will have a recap episode, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But for the time being, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, pound that like button. Obviously, we appreciate it. If you guys have any comments, Dan and Daygo will shout them out, and he'll maybe throw them on here. So make sure you guys are watching all that. And again, thank you guys so much for checking us out, and have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. Thank you guys so much.